All right, we are happy to be joined by Sportsnet's Mark Spector. Mark, we have seen that game from Montreal all through this postseason. Now Vegas, the latest recipient of the Canadiens' blueprint. What does Vegas need to do with the series shifting to Montreal to counter the game like that?
Well, for one, what we figured out here is Montreal's game, when they play it, right, when they play their game, it can beat Vegas now. We found out that it could beat Toronto. We weren't sure about that. We found out it could beat Winnipeg 4 straight, and now we know that when Montreal plays their game, it's good enough to beat a good Vegas team. So if I'm Vegas, I think the most important thing is they can't give up the first 10 minutes of every game as they have in Game 1 and Game 2. Alex Pietrangelo said after Game 2, look, this isn't a fresh problem here. We've been talking about this since last round. We start too slow. Of all the teams to start slow against, that Habs team that gets the lead on you and then clogs her up in the middle and takes the life out of the game, that's the one team you don't want to start poorly against. So Vegas should start there, start on time in Game 3.
You mentioned Alex Pietrangelo. He and the blue line have been the main contributors for the offense for Vegas, which probably is a bit of a problem given how much firepower is on that Golden Knights team. What do you think the Golden Knights have to do to get their offensive players actually producing?
Yeah, that's a bit of an anomaly, I'm going to say, because they've got so many good guys up front, Faisal. How can you, I guess if I'm Vegas, I want to say my top guys haven't done anything for 2 games and I'm 1-1. So how do I get them going? Well, again, let's go back to Montreal. Toronto never figured out how to score the ugly goal on Montreal. They kept, scoring the way Toronto always scored, and they ran out of games and lost the series. We saw in Game 1, Vegas sifted a couple of long pucks through. They went D to D way at the top of the zone, which made Carey Price have to move a long ways, got a couple goals there. So, I'm going to say when Montreal's defense is so big and strong and adept, and they got maybe the best goalie in the world right now in the pipes, I think you got to count on having to score ugly goals. You got to count on crowd and Carey Price. You're not going to score a lot of pretty goals, which means maybe a lot of the offense is going to have to come, Faisal, from the blue line.
So maybe it's right on par for their success right now. All right. Has your opinion at all changed in this series based on what you saw in Game 2 from Montreal?
Well, I'm not going to say it changed because I'm a guy that I changed my mind on Montreal. I thought they'd lose to Toronto. They didn't. I wasn't sure how they do against Winnipeg. They killed them. So I changed my mind and said, no, I've watched this team before. These teams that we keep counting out, they never get counted out. And Montreal's that team. As I just said, what we learned in Game 2 is when Montreal plays the way they want to play and they can pull off their game, it's enough, right? It can beat Vegas, and it beat them nicely in Game 2. So I'm not surprised anymore. I was, not anymore. Montreal's a good team. They play a style that's really hard to handle, right? They're physical, and in the end, they've got, let's face it, if we held the Olympics or a World Cup this fall, Carey Price would be the starter, and I'll bet you Fleury'd be the backup. So they've got outstanding goaltending, and they're getting enough offense from their guys to win games. If they score 2, they feel like they can win, Faisal. That's enough for Carey Price. So you know what? I'm not surprised with Montreal anymore. I don't think Vegas is either. This thing's going to be a deep series, and I think it's time to quit counting the Habs out, folks. We should probably learn from that by now.
Yeah, we're maybe 2 series behind on that message, Mark. Well, listen, we appreciate your time.